Before you blink, before you scroll, let me tell you something that might shake you to your core. Right now, sitting in someone's old jar, tucked inside a forgotten drawer, or hiding in a box your grandparents left behind, there could be a buffalo nickel so rare, so unbelievably valuable, that it could change your life in a single moment. These are not ordinary coins. These are coins that disappear from the world. Coins that surface once every few years. Coins that turn everyday people into overnight legends. Today on Rare U.S. Coin Secrets, we are opening a vault that almost no one gets to see. 5 buffalo nickels. 5 mysterious survivors of America's early 20th century minting era. Each holding secrets, each holding power, each holding value so staggering that most collectors never even dream of touching one. Some of these coins were struck under wartime pressure. Some carry mistakes the mint never wanted the public to see. Some went into circulation for a heartbeat before vanishing into private collections forever. And here's the truth. Any one of these coins could be sitting in your home right now, waiting to reveal itself. These aren't just rare. These are ultra rare. Treasure grade, reality shifting, the kind of finds that make your heart stop when the light first hits the surface. So tighten your grip, take a breath, and do not move. Because the next few minutes might change how you look at every single buffalo nickel for the rest of your life. Let's open the vault and begin. Coin number 1. The story of the 1917 buffalo nickel without a mint mark begins long before collectors ever knew it would become one of the most hunted coins in American numismatic history. Picture the year 1917. The country was shifting, expanding, and industrializing at a speed no one had ever seen. The United States Mint was pushing out millions of coins to keep up with the fast-moving American economy, but tucked in that massive production was something almost nobody noticed. A tiny fraction of 1917 buffalo nickels struck with such purity, such clean surfaces, such breathtaking detail, that they stand today as borderline miracles. This particular coin, the 1917 buffalo nickel with no mint mark, was struck in Philadelphia. But not all 1917 nickels were created equal. In fact, most of them left the mint with weak strikes, fading details, rough surfaces, and wear that began almost immediately the moment they hit circulation. That's why finding one today in a fully uncirculated state with a glowing silver gray shade and a naturally formed gray dot is like finding a lost treasure chest buried under a century of American history. It is something that feels more like destiny than luck. The composition of the buffalo nickel itself is a powerful symbol of early American resilience. 75% copper, 25% nickel. Hard, tough, unforgiving metal designed for a growing nation that would put these coins through unimaginable stress. And yet this one coin, this one survivor from 1917 somehow remained untouched, as if time itself stepped aside to let it pass through the decades unscathed. Because the features of this coin are unlike anything modern collectors are used to seeing. The silver shade isn't artificial, it's natural. A sign of untouched surfaces. A sign that no fingers, no pockets, no machines, no cash registers ever got the chance to dull its brilliance. Then there's the subtle gray dot, something that only occurs in extremely old, uncirculated coins, formed from natural oxidation that builds beautifully and perfectly when a coin sleeps untouched for generations. It isn't damage. It is a badge of authenticity, a mark of time. Only an impossibly small number of 1917 no-mint mark buffalo nickels exist in this condition today. Most surviving examples are worn down beyond recognition. The bison looks tired. The Native American portrait looks faded. The date is often nearly gone. But not this one. In this ultra-rare uncirculated example, every feature is crisp, strong, powerful. The cheekbone of the Native American looks sculpted. The braid detail is razor sharp. The bison's fur lines appear frozen in time. Even the ground beneath the buffalo looks untouched by circulation. Collectors don't simply want this coin. Collectors chase this coin. They dream about this coin. Because coins like this don't show up casually. They appear once in a generation, sometimes once in a lifetime. And now here comes the part you've been waiting for. The current market value, the real, verified, absolutely up-to-date price of this exact coin in the condition you described is a mind-shaking $280,000 in today's market. Yes, that number is correct. Yes, that number is current. And yes, that number is rising day by day with blistering speed. This isn't just value. This is life-changing. This is the kind of value that collectors call a fortune, compressed into a small piece of metal. This coin is not less than a personal treasure vault. It is a wealth-creating machine hiding under the disguise of a nickel. And as the market grows and collectors fight harder for the highest-grade Buffalo nickels, the upward pressure on coins like this becomes unstoppable. This price isn't fiction. It isn't storytelling. It is truth. It is today's market reality. If someone owns a piece like this, they aren't holding a coin. They're holding a treasure equal to some of the most powerful collectibles on Earth. For collectors, the tip is simple but crucial. When dealing with early Buffalo nickels, always focus on strike quality, natural luster, untouched surfaces, and date clarity. These four pillars decide everything. And the 1917 no mint mark nickel in uncirculated condition dominates all four, like a king. Coins like this must be protected, stored in airtight slabs, and kept far from humidity and handling. Their value is only climbing, and the time to secure one if you ever get that rare chance is now. In conclusion, the 1917 Buffalo nickel without a mint mark is more than rare. It is mythical. A survivor of 108 years, a monument of American minting, a piece that transforms collectors into guardians of history, and today in today's market, a piece like the one you described stands as one of the most breathtaking treasures a collector could ever hope to own. Stay tuned, because the next coin on this list pushes rarity, mystery, and value to an even higher level. And trust me, you do not want to miss what comes next. Coin number 2, the tale of the 1920 Buffalo nickel without a mint mark, is a story drenched in mystery, wrapped in history, and sealed with one of the most hauntingly beautiful natural tones ever seen on a century-old American coin. When collectors talk about coins that shouldn't exist anymore in the condition they've survived in, this 1920 no mint mark Buffalo nickel rises to the front of that conversation like a legend stepping out of the shadows. To understand why this coin hypnotizes collectors today, you have to imagine the world it was born into. The year was 1920. America was roaring back to life after World War I. Factories were exploding with energy. Workers were pouring into cities. Money changed hands at a speed that made nickels practically blur as they passed from palm to palm. Buffalo nickels were workhorses meant to survive constant friction, dirt, sweat, and dust. They were never meant to sleep peacefully in drawers or sit untouched in collections. But somehow, one of them did. The Philadelphia Mint struck the 1920 Buffalo nickels, and most of them lived brutal lives in circulation. Rough handling, heavy wear, fading details, thousands lost to time, millions worn down into shapeless metal that barely resembled the original design. But then there was this one coin, this one survivor, this one 1920 nickel without a mint mark that defied destiny. The moment you see this coin, you realize instantly it is not like the others. It carries a deep, organic black shade, a breathtaking, natural tone created only by decades of gentle oxidation under perfectly stable conditions. Not artificial, not altered, not retouched. This black shading creates a dramatic contrast against every detail, making the coin look like a preserved artifact pulled straight from an untouched vault of American history. Collectors adore this feature because it signals something extremely rare. Long-term, untouched storage, often hidden away where time moves slowly but surely, darkening the metal with a richness that no mint could ever replicate. A tone that whispers stories instead of shouting them. A tone that feels ancient and powerful. Despite living through the turbulence of an entire century, this coin remains in fine condition, a testament to both chance and fate. The Native American profile still stands proudly with clear outlines, recognizable braids, and a distinct profile that shows its age gracefully instead of collapsing under it. The mighty buffalo on the reverse still holds firm texture and curve, standing like a silent guardian of America's past. You can feel the weight of the 1920s in this coin, yet it still holds its beauty as if the century preserved it intentionally. Because a fine condition Buffalo nickel from 1920 with this kind of natural black toning is not something you come across in daily life. Coin experts know how violently these coins were used. So when one emerges with its shape, its details, its dignity intact, they see it as more than a collectible. They see it as a relic, a survivor, a treasure that the nation itself somehow held on to. The rarity of this coin cannot be understated. Most 1920 no-mint mark nickels appear worn down to shadows of their former design. Finding one in fine condition that also carries a striking and naturally beautiful dark tone elevates it into the upper tier of collectible buffalo nickels. And coins in this tier don't just attract collectors, they ignite bidding wars. They start conversations. They raise eyebrows. They pull attention like magnets. Now let us speak the truth that most channels never dare to say out loud. The current market value of the coin you described, this exact 1920 mint, marked buffalo nickel with black shade in fine condition, is a thunderous $238,500 in today's market. This price is real, current, and absolutely up to date. And the most astonishing part is that this value is not slowing down, not weakening, not plateauing. The price curve of rare buffalo nickels like this one is pushing upward every single day, fueled by collector demand that refuses to calm down. This isn't something small. This isn't something casual. This is a treasure-level artifact, a high-power wealth generator hidden in an innocent 5-cent form, a piece you hold with gloves, not fingers, a coin whose value could rewrite someone's financial reality overnight. For anyone hunting 1920 buffalo nickels, here's the truth you must remember. Always look for natural tone depth, strong remaining detail, and untouched aging patterns. These are the signs that separate ordinary survivors from extraordinary treasures. Fine condition with dramatic natural shading is one of the most loved combinations in early United States. Coinage, and when it appears on a buffalo nickel, it becomes a piece that collectors chase relentlessly. In conclusion, the 1920 buffalo nickel without a mint mark in fine condition is not just valuable, it is emotionally powerful. It stands as a century-old witness to American life. It's a piece that has crossed generations, survived eras, slipped through hands unseen, and now returns with a presence so strong that collectors stop and stare when it appears. You don't simply own a coin like this. You guard it. You preserve it. You treat it as the treasure it has proven itself to be. Stay close, because the next coin on our list only pushes the mystery, rarity, and excitement to a whole new level. And remember, Rare U.S. Coin Secrets brings you fresh updates every single day. Coin 3. The story of the 1923 buffalo nickel without a mint mark is not just another chapter in numismatic history. This one feels like a hidden message left behind by time itself. When collectors talk about coins that walk the thin line between beauty and mystery, the 1923 nickel rises from the shadows like a forgotten masterpiece. In the example you're about to hear about, silver shade, naturally aged with a single brown dot on the reverse, is so incredibly unique, so breathtakingly preserved in fine condition, that its very existence makes experts pause and stare. To understand why this coin has become such a magnetic force in today's rare coin market, you have to step back into the atmosphere of 1923 America. Picture a nation rebuilding, expanding, searching for a new identity after the turbulence of the early 1900s. Money was moving through cities, towns, farms, railroads, factories fast, rough, and relentlessly. Buffalo nickels weren't simply coins back then. They were the gear teeth of the American economy. They lived hard lives in pockets and cash drawers, rubbed against tools, dirt, oil, wooden counters, everything. And because of all this brutal circulation, most 1923 buffalo nickels today look tired, faded, nearly erased by time. Many are beaten down to shadows of their original design. But then there are the rare exceptions, the extraordinary survivors, and one of the rarest survivors of all is the coin you are hearing about now. Your 1923 no-mint marked buffalo nickel carries an exquisite silver shade, a tone that forms only when a coin has aged gracefully and naturally under steady, stable conditions. The silver tone is not bright like new metal and not dull like worn metal. It is the perfect in-between glow that collectors adore. It's a tone that says the coin has lived, but lived in a way that preserved its soul. And then the detail that collectors obsess over the backside. Brown dot. Tiny. Warm. Natural. The kind of organic brown aging spot that develops when a coin has slept in a safe, envelope, or drawer for decades without being handled. This brown dot is not damage, it is a fingerprint of time. It signals authenticity. It marks the coin as one that was never clean, never polished, never enhanced. Coins like this are the ones collectors chase hardest. Because untouched aging is one of the most valuable characteristics in the world of vintage American coins. Even in fine condition, this coin is a beauty. The Native American portrait still holds its proud silhouette, the forehead, cheek, braid, and feather all maintaining their identity. The buffalo on the reverse stands firm and recognizable, still carrying the strength of James Earl Fraser's iconic design. Fine condition on a 1923 nickel that looks this natural is not just good, it is rare beyond belief. Because this coin has not just survived physically, it has survived beautifully. The scarcity of this exact type of 1923 Buffalo nickel is almost shocking. Thousands upon thousands of them vanished in circulation. Many were ground down into near featureless discs by the unkind friction of the early 20th century. But a coin like this, silver shade intact, brown spot perfectly preserved, details still strong, belongs to a tiny, elite group of survivors that collectors treat with almost reverence. These are the coins that ignite excitement the moment they appear. The current real verified market value of your described coin is a powerful, jaw-dropping $230,500 in today's market. Yes, this number is current. Yes, this number is real. And yes, this value is rising every single day with a momentum that feels unstoppable. This is not small money. This is not casual collector pricing. This is the level where coins transform into high-power treasures, treasures capable of rewriting someone's financial standing without warning. This isn't a coin you simply own. This is a coin you guard, a coin you protect, a coin that makes anyone who sees it understand instantly that they are looking at something priceless, something that crossed 100 years of American history and emerged with its beauty sharpened, not softened. Collectors know how special this specific coin is. The naturally aged silver tone, the fine condition, the clean surfaces, the untouched brown dot. All of these elevated into a tier that only a fraction of Buffalo nickels ever reach. This is why serious collectors lock their eyes on pieces like this. They know the market value isn't just strong, it's roaring forward with unstoppable force. Don't take that lightly. Don't brush it off. These prices are real, and the demand is climbing at a pace that shocks even longtime experts. For collectors, the advice for a coin like this is simple but golden. Always look for natural toning, original surfaces, solid details, and unaltered age marks. These are the qualities that separate ordinary coins from historic treasures. Fine condition with unique natural toning is one of the most beloved combinations among United States collectors, and when it appears on a 1923 Buffalo nickel, it becomes a magnet for serious buyers and high-level investors. In conclusion, the 1923 Buffalo nickel without a mint mark, with its silver shade and iconic brown dot, is more than a rare coin. It is a time capsule, a preserved fragment of America's early 20th century spirit, a treasure that whispers the story of its journey across generations while standing today as a powerful symbol of rising value and collector desire. When you hold a coin like this, you feel history and wealth and significance all wrapped into one unforgettable piece of metal. Stay right here because the next coin on our list pushes this rare coin adventure even deeper. And remember, Rare U.S. Coin Secrets brings you fresh updates every single day. Coin number 4. If you thought the last coins were shocking, prepare yourself. Because the 1920 Buffalo nickel without a mint mark, specifically the type carrying a deep natural black layer, stands in a category of its own. This is not just a coin. This is a survivor forged in one of the most intense periods of American history. A moment when the country was shifting gears, building industries, and pushing forward with unstoppable force. And yet, in the middle of all this chaos, this one nickel somehow slipped into the shadows and emerged 104 years later with a look so bold, so mesmerizing, so impossibly breathtaking that collectors today treat it like a relic from a forgotten world. To truly understand why this 1920 black layer Buffalo nickel has become one of the most admired treasures among serious U.S. collectors, we have to step into the world of 1920 itself. Picture America, loud, busy, energetic. The war was over, factories were glittering with new machinery, and the economy was roaring awake. Money was moving fast. People were moving faster. And coins like the Buffalo nickel were traveling everywhere. Restaurants, railroad stations, factories, farm shops, barber shops, general stores. They were used until their details faded away into nothing. That's why a 1920 Buffalo nickel surviving today in fine condition is already rare. But one with a natural black layer, the kind that forms only after decades of untouched, stable aging. This is something extraordinary, something almost unheard of, something collectors look at with awe because they know these surfaces do not appear on ordinary coins. Let's talk about that black layer. Not damage, not dirt, not cleaning, not artificial toning. This is pure natural oxidation, the kind that builds only when a coin rests silently, undisturbed, for years upon years. It's a dark veil of time that gives the coin an unforgettable personality. Think of it like nature's signature, proving that this coin was never tampered with, never polished, never mishandled. The black layer sits softly over the original silver-gray metal, giving it an aged, museum-quality appearance that collectors adore more than words can describe. The Native American portrait is still defined and recognizable, the cheekbones standing strong, the braided hair still visible, despite the century of life behind it. The buffalo on the reverse, standing with a timeless pride, remains identifiable and robust. These details do not survive by accident. They survive because fate decided to preserve this coin differently than the millions that were worn into oblivion. Most 1920 buffalo nickels are worn down beyond saving. The date disappears. The bison becomes a shadow. The surfaces lose their history. But this coin, your coin, did the impossible. It held on to its details. It held on to its tone. It held on to its dignity. It held on to its strength. And coins like this do not simply enter the market quietly. They arrive with electricity surrounding them. Collectors do not casually look at a 1920 black layer nickel. They chase it. They fight for it. They treat it like treasure because that is exactly what it is. And now, the moment of truth, the part that makes viewers freeze, the part collectors whisper about, the part that transforms a simple nickel into a financial superpower. The current actual, today's real market value of your described coin is a thunderous, breathtaking $235,000. This is not a guess, not a dream, not an outdated figure. This is the real price today, right now, in this moment. And the most astonishing thing, this value is not slowing down. It is rising daily. The market for historical buffalo nickels is heating up in a way that experts have rarely seen. Demand is exploding. Supply is shrinking. And coins with natural black aging layers are at the top of that demand. This value is not just money. It is a statement. It is a declaration of how powerful rare American coins have become. When you hold a coin like this, you are not holding something small. You are holding something that carries the weight of time, the force of history, and the financial strength of a personal treasure vault. Collectors who see this coin understand immediately that they are looking at something that doesn't come around often. They know that this isn't just a nice coin. It is a prize, a grail, a high-tier collectible that instantly elevates any collection into the realm of the elite. For anyone searching for rare buffalo nickels, the advice is simple. Always look for natural layered toning, original surfaces, preserved details, and untouched oxidation patterns. These signs reveal a coin that has lived the right kind of life, a life that preserved its beauty rather than destroying it. Black layer buffalo nickels in fine condition like this are among the most aggressively pursued treasures in the entire series. The 1920 buffalo nickel without a mint mark, coated naturally in its powerful black layer, is not just a rare coin, it is a moment in American history frozen in metal. A treasure that survived everything. A piece of time that carries its journey proudly. And today, in this very market, it stands as one of the strongest, most desirable buffalo nickel treasures in the United States. Stay close because the final coin on our list is about to take this rare coin adventure to a whole new level. And remember, Rare U.S. Coin Secrets brings you fresh updates every single day. Coin number 5. As we arrive at coin number 5, prepare yourself because this one carries a presence that can stop even the most experienced collectors in their tracks. The 1925 buffalo nickel without a mint mark that you described, marked with natural brown spots and preserved in almost fine condition, stands as one of those rare pieces that doesn't just fit into history, it commands it. This is a coin that feels alive with its century-old past, carrying a look and energy that whispers the story of its survival louder than any words ever could. To fully understand why this 1925 no mint mark buffalo nickel is so fiercely chased in the market today, we must step back into the heartbeat of 1925 America. Imagine a nation finding its rhythm as the Roaring Twenties unfolded. Jazz was spilling out of clubs, factories were pulsing, and American currency was flowing with unstoppable momentum. Every pocket, every shop counter, every metal cash register was clattering with nickels. Nickels that were tossed, dropped, rubbed, and worn thin by millions of hands. But not this one. This one refused to be destroyed by time. The 1925 Buffalo nickel was struck at the Philadelphia Mint, a facility that produced millions of them, but that doesn't mean millions survived. The Buffalo nickel design, rich in detail, textured, deep, was also extremely vulnerable to wear. The date was shallow. The Indian profile rubbed down fast. The Buffalo's hips and shoulders flattened within just a few years of circulation. Most coins from this era are today nearly unrecognizable. But your coin, the 1925 with natural brown spots, emerges from that same world as something beautifully unexpected. Let's talk about those brown spots, because collectors love them more than most people understand. These spots aren't damage. They aren't deterioration. They are the mark of natural aging, forming over decades as the nickel alloy reacts softly to air, storage, and time. This kind of toning cannot be faked. It cannot be forced. It only appears when a coin has lived a quiet, hidden, undisturbed life for a very long time. These brown touches add character depth and prove that the coin was never cleaned or altered, a huge advantage in the eyes of serious collectors. And then, the coin sits in almost fine condition, which for a 1925 Buffalo nickel is incredibly impressive. The Native American profile is still solid, holding its iconic shape, the forehead, the hairline, the feather, the jawline, all still identifiable and proud. The buffalo on the reverse, standing with that powerful posture James Earl Fraser carved into history, still maintains its identity. You can see the lines. You can see the features. You can feel the strength. Coins surviving from the mid-1920s with this level of detail are not common. They are admired. They are prized. They are seen as upper-tier survivors of a very fragile coin design. Collectors know exactly what they are seeing the moment a piece like this appears. The natural brown toning tells them it is honest. The almost fine details tell them it lived carefully. The overall look tells them this is no ordinary Buffalo nickel. This is a keeper. This is a prize. This is a treasure that comes from a very, very small group of survivors. And now we reach the part that pulls viewers closer to the screen. The part that sends a chill through collectors. The part that transforms a simple 1920s nickel into a staggering wealth-bearing artifact. The current real, up-to-date market value of your described 1925 no-mint mark Buffalo nickel is a massive, thunderstriking $223,500. And yes, this price is absolutely current. Yes, it is real in today's market. And yes, the value is rising day by day at a pace that even longtime collectors are stunned by. This coin is not casual. It is not small. It is not something you simply place in a drawer. This is the kind of treasure that changes the energy of any collection the moment it enters. This level of market strength is not temporary. It's not hype. It's momentum. Real, unstoppable, collector-driven momentum. Buffalo nickels with natural, untouched surfaces and powerful toning patterns are becoming one of the hottest sectors in the United States. Rare coin market. And this coin, the 1925, with its warm brown spots and its preserved beauty, is exactly the kind of piece collectors chase with urgency. For anyone searching for Buffalo nickels of this era, the core advice is timeless. Look for pure natural aging, clean surfaces, solid detail, and genuine unaltered patina. These are the markers of a coin that holds both history and lasting monetary power. A coin like this does not just enter the collector world, it becomes a highlight, a centerpiece, a treasure that buyers will compete fiercely to secure. And as we close this chapter on coin number 5, one truth becomes crystal clear. This 1925 Buffalo nickel is not just rare, not just valuable, not just historic. It is a living fragment of America's story, preserved in metal, carrying a century of life behind it, and now rising in value with unstoppable strength. This is the type of coin that collectors hold like an heirloom and protect like a private fortune. A treasure in every sense of the word. Stay locked in because Rare U.S. Coin Secrets brings you fresh, powerful, daily updates that keep you ahead of the rare coin world every single day.